Hello, everyone. I'm Tom McKenzie, Assistant Director of Admission, and thanks for joining us. We're going to record a short video here about the curriculum. So thank you so much for volunteering to serve on our interview committee this interview season for the Case Western, for the university program, MD program, and the medical scientist training program. We are so excited to work with all of you, and this is such a great service that you're doing to Case Western and here in our medical community. You are not all expected to be curricular experts and experts on everything happening in the med school curriculum, but hopefully this video can just serve as a little bit of information that you can carry with you and remember when you proceed with interviewing candidates for medical school and for Case Western. Also, it's important to know that candidates will have multiple opportunities to speak with admissions and ask any questions they would like about the curriculum and more, both before and after your interview. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we'll get started. We're going to do, like I said, a relatively brief rundown on the curriculum and what the 4 years of medical school entail at Case Western in the MD program. This is a screenshot of what the first 2 years, the pre-clerkship years in the classroom, look like. The curriculum is divided into 6 different blocks. Each block is 11 to 14 weeks. There's also assessment weeks at the end of each block where students are assessed and they're tested over the material for that particular block. The exams are all essay-based the first 2 years. That's important to know. So all the exams that the students will be taking for the most part are essay-based examinations. It gives the curricular team a good opportunity to get an in-depth look at how much the students know already, maybe what more do they need to know, and the information they perhaps don't know, how can they learn it better? And essays are really the best way for our curricular team to evaluate that. The grading system, the first 2 years is pass-fail, which is fairly standard and common, we would say, amongst most medical schools in the United States today. So 11 to 14 weeks in each block. This is the first 2 years of med school. Block 1 is the only block that's a little bit short. Block 1 is 5 weeks, and block 1 serves as the introductory block. There's a lot of big picture items in block 1, such as just public health type things. We have, oh gosh, you can maybe read all these topics here, but there's medical error, healthcare disparities, biostatistics, social determinants in health, all the different things that here's everything you're going to expect as you continue to embark rather on this journey of medical school and studying medicine and in this career. There's also some community related health experiences you'll participate in. We'll get students out a little bit, see the city of Cleveland, meet the patient population, and that kind of thing. It's very much a time where students ease into medical school. This is not, I would say, block 1 is not a setting where students have hours upon hours of extra work, on the evenings and weekends. It's definitely more of a time where students are transitioning into med school, transitioning to life in Cleveland, and transitioning to a new chapter. After the first 5 weeks in block 1, students then jump into this little red box here, the 2-week anatomy boot camp. So students will then go into the dissection lab for 2 consecutive weeks with nothing but anatomy. All right. So there's nothing but anatomy for 2 straight weeks. And how this will work is students will spend literally the entire 2 weeks in the dissection lab. And that is really all the material that is taught for that entire week. Okay. So it's a lot of anatomy. And after the anatomy 2-week boot camp, students will transition into block 2, where they'll have what we call GARLA. And this occurs in a number of ways. You have the hollow anatomy, living anatomy, radiology, and physical diagnosis. And all of these things occur pretty much on a consistent near weekly basis starting in block 2. The hollow anatomy, after the 2-week boot camp, anatomy is taught digitally. So you put on the goggles, like I see you, you see me, we see everything in the room, and then the digital content is inserted into the room as if it's actually there. So efficiency is the name of the game. This has been such an exciting new technology that has really taken off the last 5, 6 years, and we are so fortunate to have it at Case Western. There are 4 students to a hologram using the hollow anatomy, just like 4 students to a team or to a cadaver, excuse me, in cadaveric dissection. So there's the first 6 weeks or the first 6 blocks of med school, first 2 years of med school. Year 1 is blocks 1 through 4. Year 2 is blocks 5 and 6. There's a 12-week mentored research thesis. Every student will graduate with research experience on their resume when they apply for residency, which is very huge and important. And also, students are assigned a research mentor. It's a mentored research thesis that they will participate in. This is when you're expected to work on the research project for full time for the most part in that summer period between blocks 4 and 5 and between years 1 and 2. Throughout the first 2 years of med school, there's some of these longitudinal themes that'll take place, such as health system science, diversity, professionalism, bioethics, and also block 7 and block 8 are more longitudinal blocks that occur throughout each of the 6 blocks as you move forward, such as Tuesday seminars. Those are every Tuesday morning, mostly probably in blocks 2 through 6 is when this will take place. Block 1's more that intro block, but gosh, Tuesday seminars, medical communications, also physical diagnosis, patient-based experiences interacting with patients. It might include interviewing a standardized patient. It might include seeing a patient at one of our area teaching hospitals. So any of those things can occur throughout each of the 6 blocks as well. Scrolling down here, this is what a typical schedule for a first-year student looks like. The curriculum is divided into those 6 blocks, and every week students are divided, or every block, excuse me, students are divided into teams of 8. And they will review patient cases of scenarios. They may include MRI findings, CT scans, lab results, but the main vehicle for medical education the first 2 years is IQ. That's where students spend the bulk of their time outside the classroom. And students will review pretty in-depth patient cases in a team of 8, each block, 2 days a week, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 to 10 the first year, and then 10 to noon the second year, and talk about everything you know and everything the group doesn't know about the particular patient. Then students will proceed forward and work together throughout the week to identify a set of learning objectives, which are about 10 to 15 different essay questions that they take away from the patient case and situation. The goal, ask the right questions. Learn how to think like a physician those first 2 years. Very, very important. Scrolling, and then real quick, we do have lecture that frames more the bigger picture topics. That's also Monday, Wednesday, Friday as well. And then talks about some of the other things that occur, on Tuesday, Thursdays, the medical communications, patient-based experiences, Tuesday seminars, etc. But IQ is that main vehicle. You'll see students are only in class about 20, 25 hours a week. So there's not a ton of structured learning, a lot of unstructured time outside the classroom that will be needed to study and read and whatnot. But students do have the flexibility to participate in pathways, dual degrees, and a variety of other things those first 2 years. Once students get into their 3rd year, they'll go into clinical core rotations. And it's 40 weeks of clinical core rotations with an individual grading system. You can see that here. Honors, commendable, satisfactory, unsatisfactory. And then students have 3 different ways they can structure their training. They can do a more traditional core where they train at our VA, university hospitals, and Metro, or they can choose one of our longitudinal clerkship options. So they can do all their training at the Cleveland Clinic, or they can do all their training at Metro Health Medical Center. Most students will choose the traditional core. There's 170 students in the university program class. Maybe about 40 to 50 will choose the Cleveland Clinic longitudinal clerkship, and less than a dozen will choose the Metro clerkship. That's significantly smaller. So that'll take place in the 3rd year of medical school. There's what we call the science and the art of medicine as well. It's called SAMI. So that is one structured experience students typically have every Friday in a small group format to provide students an opportunity to practice patient care with direct observation and feedback from various clinical facilitators. The fourth year of medical school, students do get their life back. There is some prep time for step two. Students also have the opportunity to take more clinical electives, either locally or perhaps outside the city of Cleveland. And you are definitely in residency preparation mode and residency application mode. Students participate in what we call 2 acting internships in a variety of specialties. And there's also other different medical education, like teaching elective requirements and things of that nature. So, but not a ton of structured things. It's more getting you ready for residency and preparing for next steps by applying to residency and all that process entails. The match takes place every year in the month of March, as you probably know, and then the graduation is in May. So that's a rundown of the med school curriculum and kind of what all 4 years of medical school look like in a brief nutshell. So hope this helps provide some context when maybe interacting with students or answering any questions as you move forward with interviewing students for us. Thank you so much, everybody. We really appreciate your participation. Have a great day.